Hemodialysis, a treatment for kidney failure. We'll discuss what it is, how it is done, and we'll present some of the advantages and disadvantages of this type of treatment.
There are two ways to treat kidney failure: dialysis and kidney transplant. To learn about a kidney transplant or peritoneal dialysis, which is another type of dialysis, watch the videos on those subjects. So, what is hemodialysis? It is a treatment that removes waste products and extra fluid from your blood, and it's often called HD, or hemo for short.
During hemodialysis, your blood is pumped through soft tubes to a dialysis machine. Inside the machine, there's a special filter called a dialyzer, or artificial kidney. The artificial kidney allows waste and extra fluid to pass through while holding back important things like blood cells and nutrients. As your blood is filtered, it is returned to your bloodstream. Only a small amount of blood, about a half a cup, is out of your body at any time. The whole process takes 3 to 5 hours. Most people need treatment at least 3 times a week.
You will need to have an access or entrance to your bloodstream. This is done with minor surgery, usually to your arm. You will also have 2 needles inserted temporarily during each hemodialysis treatment to get blood into the hemodialysis machine.
Hemodialysis can be done at home or in a dialysis center. To do hemodialysis at home, you'll need to set up your home for the machine and other equipment. You'll also need a care partner to help you and room for supplies. This is usually a family member or friend, but may also be someone you hire to assist you. You and your care partner will receive special training on how to do your treatment safely. If you do hemodialysis at home, a dialysis center will arrange for the equipment and supplies. They will follow your treatments closely and see you when you come in for your checkups. You'll also be given a 24-hour telephone number in case of emergencies. There are many advantages to doing hemodialysis at home. Some people feel it gives them more flexibility and that they're better able to fit it into their daily schedule. Or they might prefer being at home with family during treatments or not having to travel back and forth to a treatment center. In other words, some people feel it gives them a greater sense of control and independence. But there are other things to consider too. You must have a care partner to help you and enough space in your home for a machine, water, and supplies. And you'll need to take charge of the machine itself, prepping it beforehand, cleaning it, storing it. And you'll need to monitor your own vitals during treatment.
I'm a mother,
Well,
I'm
guys.
a wife. I teach Sunday school for almost.
Welcome to my channel. This is your caregiver supporter, Queen C. Pinkston. And guys, you've been hearing me tell you about caring for my late husband, Ben, right here on dialysis. Remember, I shared with you he was on dialysis for like about 20 years. And yeah, and that's basically what we'll say. You know, he's on dialysis and he did this, he did that. Some people know what it's about. Some people don't know what it's about. And knowledge, if you don't know what you don't know about, you fear. You fear a lot. You know what I mean? But what I'm doing today, as you can see, we're talking about tips on holding a family meeting to discuss a hemodialysis diagnosis. And we want to go through some points on that and maybe talk about why it's important. As you just saw, the dialysis process, and by the way, I work in dialysis. That's what I do. So not only did I care for Ben during on dialysis, I work in dialysis now daily. That's what I do. You're going to see some more, the needles and all the things we put in, the blood machine, the whole works. That's what I do. But we want to talk about not only when you hear the person that is on dialysis, find out what it's about, but my main goal has always been, since I cared for Ben on dialysis, what I mean cared for, physically, emotionally, spiritually, the whole deal, he wasn't always in the bed or whatever, but you saw that individual, and we'll see a little bit more in a little while. Where if they're at the hemo, if they're at the center, they are in a recliner and they're restricted. Therefore, it depends on your prescription. His prescription was 4 hours. Some people are 3 hours, 3.5, 4. Depends on what the doctor orders for you. And so you are kind of incapacitated for that length of time. And it depends on how you are physically. You might be able to still get up from there. A lot of people still can walk themselves in and they can get their treatment. A lot of people, and then they leave and walk themselves back out. Some people can still hold a part-time job. Um, Nowadays, there's a lot of things you can do online that you don't have to go out and do physical work and this type of a thing, and all kinds of stuff. But then after a while, things are going to change either for the better or for the worse. Okay. So, and we're going to talk about why that family meeting is so important, because changing for the better could be get a transplant. And like my friend Melvin did, congratulations, Melvin, in Florida. I pray things are going well with you. Congratulations to Pete, one of my clients that I just cared for. He got his transplant. I pray things are going well with you. And Tiffany, I haven't heard from you. I pray things are going well with you. And just so many more that have received their kidney transplant. And hopefully they're complying and doing what they need to do. And I hope things are going well. So that would be considered the better side. Okay. So the not so good side would be when the body starts to go downhill after so many years of receiving treatment on the machine. So things are going to change and they start getting maybe, weaker. It depends on, and we'll talk about that part in another video, but it depends on what else is in conjunction with the kidney failure, right? Or what caused it. So we know the two main causes are hypertension and diabetes, and that'll be another video. But the thing of it is that they'll start to go downhill. And so that'll be something that the family need to talk about. And you need to have a conversation. So on this particular video, she was sharing basically about hemodialysis and home dialysis. Um, yeah, there's all kinds of dialysis. Not all kinds, but I mean there's peritoneal, and that's a different one, and that's when you're doing it at home, but it's getting done through the stomach area. Hopefully, we can find a video for that later. The one you just saw with the needles, that's called hemo. That's where I work, and that's the one that Ben took. He started out with peritoneal in the beginning, and that some people do well with that one, and some people don't do so well. It was very convenient, and he did great for a while. Then things didn't work out well. Got a terrible infection, like a lot of people do. And once he got over that infection, he decided hemo was better for him. While he was on the transplant list waiting, and if that's what he wanted to do. And guys, let me say this as we get into this family meeting thing. One of the things too, which falls right into the family meeting thing, is very, very, very so critical. What I found out in over the years, sometimes we can think that the transplant is the cure-all, and you just got to get it, and there's nothing else better, and all of these things go through our heads. Maybe the ones of us that are not diagnosed with this disease, and we're thinking, oh my God, just get a transplant and you're up and running and life is a piece of cake. Not necessarily. There's still tons and tons and tons of restrictions that go along with even a transplant. Okay. And they have to comply with tons of things. This is something that the family have to talk about, as well as what is happening when you first get that diagnosis, period, of the kidney failure. So let's get into a little bit of this and see what we can do. Now, we know it's very important holding a family meeting to discuss. I'm talking about hemo now. If you saw the beginning of the video, Hemo is with the needles when you're going into the center, sitting into the recliner, and we are connecting you and cleaning your blood. Okay, this is the one we're discussing today, and not necessarily so much said the procedure, but the family meeting. So, um, here's some crucial steps we need to kind of see as a family when we're coming together to talk about. Number one, preparation. Preparation. So after now the doctor has scared you half to death, it is scary. Yes, it is. I mean, I was there. I know you start to see all signs and wonders. Things are not working right in with your urine. Um, this, even though this is not about symptoms, but I will share before I get into preparation, we start to see an overabundance of protein that were showing up in the urine. When you use the bathroom, there was some, how can I say this? YouTube won't get upset. Lots of bubbles, lots of bubbles. We were starting to see lots of bubbles in the urine. Okay. So when my husband would go and use the restroom, and he would notice almost like soap suds. That's a good idea. Almost like it would be bubbles from soap, you know, soapy sauce bubbles coming up. So we know that that was not normal. That was not normal. And there's other symptoms you can know about too, which we'll talk about later. That's not this video. But we saw that and we knew then that something was not right. And also there was um, urgency, a lot of urgency to use the restroom, where normally you could maybe last longer, 2 hours. The average person is like 2 hours, just about 2 hours, unless you've done a water pill or you've done something that is making you just go, 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 go. Normally, we usually go like every 2 hours. That's why you can sleep at night and then your body wakes you and you get up and you go use the facilities and you come back. Because normally every 2 hours, unless you don't drink and you're dehydrated, or unless you're, like I say, taking some medication to make you go more often. So we started seeing these really, really frequent urgencies. You know, oh man, I just can't hold it. I gotta go. If you One sign was we'd be buying gas. You're pumping gas at the gas station, and you're pumping gas, and there's a sign like water's running, right? And you're pumping the gas. So I was like, whoa, I got to go, I got to go. So you got to go. There's an urgency there, and then you're seeing the bubbles and these things. So without, okay, enough is enough. We need to go see what's going on. So once we did that, and then once the test results were back, and the doctor came in and made the diagnosis of what was happening, and saying, okay, now you need to go on dialysis, and we had to make a decision, but the one immediately, what are you going to do? Hemodialysis, peritoneal dialysis, something, but you need to go on dialysis right away. A lot of times the first one, the most immediate one, is the hemo, because you're in the hospital and they need to put in, and I don't have a picture of that right now, what you would call a catheter. And that's when something is put directly into your main artery there and vessel, so that we can clean you right away and give you cleaning immediately. And then later you can choose what's going to happen later. And then you'll transfer from this one to wherever you're going. We went from here to the peritoneal, which was the abdomen, and didn't work out well. And he didn't really care for this one because of other reasons, showers and all kinds of stuff. And so we ended up going here. And this was the one that we stayed with, which is called hemo. We stayed with this one. And it can be in this arm, whatever, different places, but it's the needles you saw at the beginning of the video. All right. So then now that we have the diagnosis, we were shocked and like, okay, you're going to be on the machine 3 days a week. You're going to do this, you're going to do that. Oh my God, what is happening to my life? All this stuff. So now we got to talk. We got to talk. You got to make some preparations. You got to make some decisions, right? So this is why it is so critical that if there is family, For us, it was, of course, him, myself, and my mom, immediate family there at this time. But if there's others, you're going to have, what if it's, you and the kids and uncles, aunts, whoever is involved in the immediate family, they need to know what has been done, diagnosed, and what kind of life changes is going to take place, because it is going to be changes. Trust me. So, number one is preparation. You got to create some kind of an agenda um, to meet. You got to get together and say when we're going to meet, and then we got to figure out, okay, now guys, yeah, and today you can meet on, what is it, Meetup, FaceTime, you can conference call, whatever the case may be. It's so more so convenient right now. Sometimes I think that it would be better um, if you could meet in person. That would be awesome, because you get to see the individual, and the individual will get to see you. And also, if you might not have the family doctor right there, right then, maybe yes, maybe no, but you need to have all of the medical information if you can get that. You need to just say, what, just like I was beginning to show you, what is dialysis anyway? And what's going to happen, and what does it mean, and all these types of things we need to know. And then you need to know what is the prognosis of that. Does this mean that he's going to be on like forever? Because it is. And let me be clear. Even sometimes in working in dialysis, we get so attached sometimes to the clients because they're with us for years. I mean, they can be, like I said, my husband was on dialysis for 20 years. So it can be 10 years, 20 years. You've probably seen reports. I think Strong had a video of some guy maybe had been on like for 30 years, whatever. So it can be a lifelong process starting from that point on. So it's going to involve a lot, okay? But you can remedy a lot of that by coming together in beginning to make it clear to the immediate family, whoever's involved, what is going on here, okay? Things are going to change. We're going to have some caregiving responsibilities, and guys, for women and men, but definitely wives, which I was a wife to a husband. Emotional support is going to be so demanding. It is. Because right away, they're going to start to see themselves as not being the man I've always been. The manhood he feels is threatened. Um, Being supporter is threatened. Just being the man is threatened. Provider, supporter, protector, all of those kinds of things immediately just whoom comes in. Okay. And you, in as though direct primary the wife, or and same thing for the husband with the wife. There's a lot you got to be there. You got to be there because it's hitting her hard. If that diagnosis is there and she's getting on that machine, it's hitting her hard. Am I the woman I always was? Am I still beautiful? Can I do what I normally do? How can I do things now? And I got these things coming out of me or going in me. I mean, it can really just mess with your brain. Okay. So when you start thinking about all of those things, and then you have the support, you come together and you say, whoa, okay. For me, number one, I started praying. I don't want to offend nobody, but that's what I did. I started praying. And I say, Father God, in the name of Jesus, you got to give me help right here. You got to help me. Right. I don't know where to go, what to do with this. This is totally new. We never expected this. We were up, we were working, we were doing our lives, we were just, and all of a sudden, kabam. So I don't know. All right. So that was my first go-to, was to seek the Lord for comfort in prayer. Then my second One was to comfort him, to comfort him as much as I could, and just simply be open and honest with this meeting and say, look, honey, we're going to have to go through this together. I don't know what it's about. We're going to have to go through it together. And then you start, like I said, asking questions. You try to get as much information you can from the doctors. Sometimes the doctors are very vague and you don't get the answers you want. So you need to don't be shy on talking to the nurses and doing research. Just like I was able to pull up these videos, you can do research and you can find out a lot of stuff. And I'll be putting some of these in the description box. The Kidney Foundation and a lot of these, and some of these have information for Black families specifically to help you through it as well. Okay, so now you need to invite everyone that's involved in the caregiving process. Again, a lot of people will, I see this with families, they will kind of exclude the children. They'll exclude the children. Well, they don't need to know. They don't need to know. They do need to know. They do need to know because if dad is there and now dad is doing something differently, dad now is going away 3 days a week in 4 hours a day and he's on some type of machine. Dad can't maybe play ball quite like he used to, or maybe he can lift so much with the arm now, but maybe not as much as he used to. Or now, the diet thing changes. The diet changes because now you're on a strict kidney diet. Renal is called renal diet compared to the regular diet that you maybe were eating. So now you got to talk about all of these things, and it can seem overwhelming, but it's really not because what you want to do is you want to talk about it. You want to have an agenda. You need to write it. Just make some points. What are we going to do about this? What are we going to do about that? How do we do this? How do we do that? How do we handle this? How do we handle that? And as time goes on, you'll probably get more questions and more thoughts to bring to the meeting. The family meeting shouldn't be a one-time meeting because things are going to change as they go along. So I don't know how you would do that. We talked often because I had to always keep up with changes in medication, changes in, if there was an emergency, because things can happen where with the diet you can eat by accident almost, because you're not used to preparing this new type of arena diet at home. And so now if you get too much potassium or you get too much this, you eat too many potatoes, and we'll do a diet thing one day. Potassium is critical. You can only eat so much stuff, you know what I mean? And you got to be very, very, very careful. And if you don't know that as a family, you can be preparing a meal and you just totally forget. And maybe the person is not thinking and the food tastes good and everybody around the table is eating it and they're eating it. And then immediately you are calling 911 because now they're being rushed to the hospital because of eating something that triggered something in the system. And how could that happen? The family needs to know that the kidney is such a important organ in our body, and it filters out the waste and different things that we just don't think about. We don't think about it. You you'll go and eat something, and I just ate a banana not too long ago and sipping on my little bit of coffee here. You don't think about it too much because if you get whatever waste is in there that the body doesn't want, it's going to filter it out. Well, when you're discussing the diagnosis of kidney failure, hemodialysis now with your family in this discussion, you're going to know now that the only way the waste is going to get filtered out now is through hemodialysis. So family got to know that, right? And even so, the person might be excreting a small amount of urine for a while. Sometimes that goes on, but they're not excreting the waste, that overflow of waste that the kidneys disperses. That's staying inside the body. And so the if you would picture a baby diaper, picture a baby diaper where the baby has urine in the diaper, and the diaper remains for a while, and it starts to smell very strong. That's like that ammonia smell. You start to smell that. Well, that smell, that ammonia type, it remains inside the body because the kidneys now can't get rid of it unless they come to, at this particular video, is hemodialysis center, right? So they've been diagnosed with now they're on hemodialysis. So what do we do? What do we do? So at the family meeting, we had to talk about there's going to be a change in diet now because we're on hemo. I say we, family's on hemo. So we're going to be a change in diet. It's number one. It's going to be a change in routine because now we got to make sure that, as you saw in the video, they get to the dialysis treatment on time, okay? Because there's going to be a certain time slot that is set for hemo at the center. And if it's 6 o'clock, first chair, then somebody's going to have to be making sure they get up early enough to get, unless the family member that is receiving hemo is able to drive themselves, and a lot of people are. Excuse me, for a long while, a lot of people are. They don't even have to bother the family. They're able to still in that they can get up, get themselves dressed, they can go and get their treatment, and they can come back, and that's a good thing. And that can happen sometimes for a long time, sometimes for a lot of years that can happen. But then sometimes it depends on the person that is diagnosed, because sometimes you see dialysis, it can be younger. It has no age limit. Some people are elderly, seniors. Some people are already wheelchair bound. Some people are, or whatever. They might can't maneuver themselves anyway. And so as you're discussing around the table, you already had this going on, but now this is a new thing that has been added into it that you got to do now. So you were already doing everything else. Now you got to make sure that you add on the new one. And so now in your discussion, who's going to make sure that this is done? Who's going to be responsible for making sure they're getting to their appointments? Who's going to be responsible making sure that they get picked up after their treatment and get back home? Because we run into that a lot of times. A lot of folks, they use the different companies, these trucks that come and pick up people. And sometimes they have crazy agendas, right? Adjusting me on my stool. They have crazy agendas sometimes, it seems, because the person can have gone through their hemodialysis treatment for 3.5, 4 hours, and they're all stopped, sealed up. We've got them prepared and packed up, and they're ready to leave, and their ride is nowhere to be found. Either it's one of those. I don't want to call the name of a company, but those companies that uh, pick up the handicap, different ones. You know, those lift trucks. Sometimes they're nowhere to be found, or sometimes the person has to wait. Depends upon the schedule or something for an hour, or sometime before they can get out of there to go home, and they're worn out by that time. I mean, they're just like worn out because after having that treatment, it differs with different people, but some share that they are really tired when they're done and they just want to go and lay down. My husband just be hungry. He just goes, I'm so hungry. So when he would get off there, I gotta go eat. I just need to go eat. I'm hungry, you know. Um, so those are some things that around the family meeting you want to discuss to discuss a hemodialysis diagnosis. Validation, acknowledge the emotional impact. Again, on both the patient and the caregiver. So as the family is sitting and they're talking, they're going to realize now that the person that is on hemo is going to need, again, that emotional support. And if there's one primary caregiver, she's going to need emotional support as well. Again, to just know that you can get through this together. It's not going to be easy. Life is changing. Your routine will change, but you can do it. And then know then that is how everybody can pitch in. You know, that's a blessing if you have the support of the family that can pitch in to help you. That's a big deal. That makes a big difference. Quickly, let's see. You want to, there's a safe space. It's just like here. I consider this a safe space where family members can share their emotions and experiences. Nobody's going to judge you here. You know, you type in what you want or whatever. If you don't want people to see it, you don't have to type it in. You can email me, uh, whatever the case may be. If there's something you want to share, you feel that you need prayer or something you do about what you're dealing with, nobody's going to pounce upon you. You shouldn't feel that way. I don't understand why you're like this or that. No, that's not what's going on here. And I am going to get involved even more deep in this. I was looking at the National Kidney Foundation today, and I want to see if I want to literally be a part of that. I think I'm going to join that because it's right into what my heart's desire has always been with family caregivers. I'm just wondering, I want to have more of this side of it where the family, not so much the patient. Remember, I shared with you, it's a family caregiver support. So it's not so much the one that's in the dialysis chair. That person is getting care. That person we are caring for. But what I find is the ones that is supporting him. It's the wives, it's the mothers, it's the daughters, it's the children who is supporting the one that's in the chair. We want to help you, strengthen you, prepare you, encourage you, support you. That's what it's about. So as I use my personal experiences as well as I do my research and try to find out more and more information to try and help you through what it is, through you in your self-care, your life care, your spiritual, emotional, physical, and financial, that you can be there for your loved one that is in that chair receiving that care. That is very, very important. Um, you want to have follow-up meetings. Follow-up meetings. You want to meet again, and as you talk with your nephrologist, their doctor, primary care, whomever, and as things change, as time goes on, the labs may be changing or something is going on there, that you can come in and update each other and let everybody know what is going on. I think that is huge. Um, the community involvement is very important, and sometimes, well, I have a note here that simply says engage with community organizations and support groups that understand the unique challenges faced by Black family caregivers. They can provide additional resources and support. It is because sometimes we go through things. There was a gentleman, I don't have that video, he was sharing that for years he wouldn't share with anyone, his friends and others, about his condition. He felt that, and he's in the Black community, he just felt that he would be maybe stigmatized in some way or something would go on. And it took him a while before he was able to feel safe in opening up. But you know something? I want you to know this. I've been in medicine all of my life, from geriatrics to surgery to I worked as a safety supervisor and then back into now dialysis. I have found that disease, be it kidney failure, be it whatever it is not prejudiced in any way. It doesn't care what your race is. It doesn't care what your culture is. It doesn't care. It doesn't care. A disease is disease is disease. And we have people in all races with on hemodialysis. Other dialysis too, but we're talking about hemo today. So you want to know that it might be, unfortunately, your turn today, but it could be somebody else's turn tomorrow. And therefore, we as a community, I pray that we won't be in a place where we will put, oh my God, what's the word? Like, be biased or stigmatized or something against someone who is dealing with an ailment. We don't want that in our community at all. We want to be there for each other, encourage each other, uplift each other. That's what we want to be able to do, regardless of our culture. Our culture is the village, remember? It is the village. I want to go back to the ending of that video and see, did she have something else there for us? Let's find out. Now this one she was covering um, home
30 years
dialysis as
now.
well.
When they told me I had to go on dialysis, I was introduced to the home hemodialysis.
This is the home here.
I wasn't prepared for how I was going to feel. I trained at the center that taught us every aspect of the machine, what it does. Once I did that, I was confident. I don't think you could do it alone, so having a support team is really important. I asked two of my friends to help me, plus my husband does it on the weekends with me. So I feel like I have a nice team that works with me. You could mess up unless you know what you're doing, but once you get in the swing of it, it gets easier and easier to do. Sometimes I get scared thinking I got to do this until, when, how long, forever, maybe. But then I go back to that simple plan, a day at a time. And that's what gets me through. I started working from home. I'm delighted with that because I get to see my daughter during the day. I get to work in a nice atmosphere. The quality of life is really wonderful. Awesome. Dialysis is amazing because it functions as a body part, outside of your body. And without that machine, I wouldn't be able to live. That's what it comes down to. There's things that you do have to work with, you have to give up, but what's, the price? It's easy to give them up when you know that you're getting your life back. The inspiration I would give to someone else is don't give up. If you go to the classes and you think they're a little tough, everything gets easier. I have to say that I've learned to love it. I feel like I have a better lifestyle. No one would ever think I was sick if they didn't see my arm. Well, I'm not really sick. I think of myself as a well person. If you put your mindset in the right place, you can do absolutely anything. I really believe that.
Awesome. Awesome. So
The other
guys,
choice is to
that
do
that was that point there. Now, if you saw the needles, even though she was at home, it still was like hemodialysis because that's where it is. The needles are done there. Okay. And yet the machine is much more smaller and compact, where in the unit we have a larger machine there. Very, very much so. I would like for you guys to share with me your experiences if you, first of all, are on hemodialysis. I've never been on hemodialysis, okay? I've never been on dialysis. My husband was on dialysis right here, and I cared for him. So this is why I do what I do. I work in dialysis, in hemodialysis. That's what I do. My um, my strong point is being the caregiver of that individual. That's my strong point, not the one that's on the machine, but supporting her, supporting him. And so I want to hear from family members, caregivers, your strong points, your weak points, where you feel that you had struggles in maybe helping that loved one, or maybe everything was just hunky dory too, and that's okay. That's a good thing. That's a good thing if it was like that for you. You know, you were able to go right through it. I mean, they were diagnosed, you had no issues, and all was well. But it can be a challenge, and I just need you to know that you're not alone here. I'm going to do my part in finding as much research as I can for you, in sharing it with you. I only ask that you like the video. I only ask that you share the video. I've run into people, ran into someone Sunday. I think they were sharing with me. They said, "Oh, I watch all your videos," but I'm saying I don't know you're there. I don't know you're there. So you need to. Could you do something? Leave a comment. Leave a question. Give a thumbs up. Do something to let me know that you're there, and that would be a blessing. Guys. You can't do anything better than that. There's nothing you can do better than that. Uh, than to like the video and leave a comment. Well, subscribing is good too. I mean, it's free, and that would be awesome. But when we can know that we can communicate with you and you're communicating back, that's like you're being face to face. It's almost like being face to face, and we're I'm giving and we're back and forth exchanging conversation. But if there's never any comment, or never a like or share or something, it's like it's a one way. It's strictly just a one way conversation. You give, you give, you give, you give, you give. Nothing is coming back. Nothing is coming back. So we want. I really want something coming back. So guys, um, let me see. Someone was sharing about the needle, the needles that go into the arms, and all those kinds of things. There are needles, guys. There are big needles that we put inside, and but again, as you share with your loved one and they talk about it, and you get to know that knowledge alleviates fear. Knowledge alleviates fear. So as you're having that family meeting, the more information you get, and I don't mean you got to become a technician. I don't mean you got to become a nurse. I don't mean you got to become a doctor. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that the more you know about your loved one that you're caring for is going to make life easier for you because it's going to alleviate the stress. Now, I'm thankful. I actually was very thankful for, like the lady said in the video just a minute ago, how she was kind of grateful. I was very thankful for the dialysis machine, the hemodialysis machine. Once we got familiar with it and we knew what it was doing, I was very thankful because it extended my husband's life for many, many years. And we were able to have a good life. We were able to have a good life together. I mean, we still able to do quite a few normal things. Not much traveling did we do because at that time we didn't understand the fullness of it. I think he got to travel maybe once, I think, and in the ending he wanted to go someplace, so he was able to take a flight and do a treatment at that location, which they work with that too on hemodialysis. You can, at home, you don't have to worry about it, but if you're on hemo, you can travel. People do travel. You just, there's dialysis centers located all over, and you just make an appointment earlier with your social worker, and they'll set you up for a treatment at the destination that you're going. You can get one there, and then you'll be ready to do your treatments when you get back here. And why is that? Back to what I was saying earlier with the hemo in the kidney, remember, the family have to know that they can't expel fluid and they can't expel waste, okay? Like you and I do. Every 2 hours, you can go to the bathroom, you can urinate, you can expel the excess. It doesn't stay in your body. With them, it does. So this is why, um, as the family learns the importance of fluid, them drinking too much, that's a big thing. It's a big thing. It's a big thing. Because if they drink too much fluid, family, that causes a whole lot of problems. Because when they come to us at the hemodialysis center, we have to try and remove the fluid. And if they have on a lot of fluid, for example, 3 liters, 4 liters, 5 liters, yes, people can have on that. We can have a hard time taking that off through the hemodialysis machine because it is so hard on the heart. Puts a big strain on the heart. It would be like you and I, like those they often talk about on TV, how you lose a lot of weight overnight or in 2 days or in 3 days. You're going to lose 10 pounds in 2 days, 3 days. So yeah, that's like, you know, and for them to come and lose 10 pounds in 4 hours, 3.5 to 4 hours, that's a lot, real lot of pulling on the heart. So in that family meeting, it's critical that you discuss all of these things, the changes, right? But diet, fluid intake, um, changing in activities, in the schedules, emotional support, these kinds of things, they're critical. There's a lot going to fall. Medication, going to be a lot of different medication you're going to have to be contending with. Some have to be taken before meals, some taken after, different things of that sort. But if you can just come together, however many people, and begin to talk about the changes, what the diagnosis is, how it works, how it affects us, what changes will be needed. And I'm telling you, it will make the world of difference with you and your family. It really will. Um, you won't get it all done in the first meeting. It took us almost, I'm gonna say, the first 5 years to kind of get this thing under control. Because number one, diet was just crazy. You won't be able to just prepare the same meals and cook the same meals and do all those kinds of things. Some things you can, some things you can't. But there's a secret. There's a secret that we learned when I talk about the diet. I'll share it with you. It took a while, and we learned it. And once we learned how to implement that, our life changed. It was like boom. It was like the light switch came on, and all of a sudden, I go, oh, why didn't I think of that all the time, right? But in the beginning, there's so much coming in from all sides. What you can drink, what you can eat, where you can go, what you can't go, is just on and on and on. And then the whole thought of being on the machine for having to depend upon a machine, be it at home, be it in the center. Um, just the idea of being on a machine for livelihood is something that nobody wants. No, I don't know anyone that wants it. But once you realize sometimes how it can extend that individual's life and they can live to see their kids and their grandkids or still enjoy for a number of years, in addition to sometimes the attitude changes. Now, this is not guaranteed always. There's a lot of other conditions that come into causing the kidney to fail. And yeah, those are things that we need to talk about. Even you hear in the Black community that we are, sometimes they can say 3 to 4 times more likely to get diagnosed with kidney failure than other communities. Personally, I hate that statistic. I do not like it at all. I don't. Um, but I guess statistics and numbers show. And so what we want to do is be able to bring some information to help us combat that so that that won't always be our statistic. Every time it comes up, the Black community are more apt to get this and to get that. So we can work on that. We can work on changing that. And one of the ways we do it is how we're doing it right now, through education. Through education is one of the big ways. Yeah. To help us figure out what it is that we can do. How can we turn things around? Can't turn everything around, but we can work hard on turning some things around in our community. We can work hard on alleviating stress and anxiety, and we can work hard on alleviating depression and the things that come against us. I know with the new um, the new regime, our new president, and all of this, I know tons and tons of stress is coming from all sides, and all of that is not helping. But we in turn have to find a way, by God's help, by God's grace, to block out block out what it is that we don't need, keep what we do need, and seek God for guidance and strategies to help us overcome. We've come a long, long way. The Black community has come a long, long way. We've endured many, many things. And so when we're hit with these hemodialysis diagnoses and things of this sort, we can say, okay, Lord, you brought me through other things. I believe you can bring me through this. We've come through a lot. So yes, hemodialysis diagnosis, we can come through a lot. We'll get through this. My family and I will get through this together. We will live. We will survive. We'll survive spiritually. We'll survive physically. We'll survive financially. Yes. And we'll survive emotionally, mentally. It will not take us out. This will not take us out. Why? Because my trust is in the Lord, right? I'm going to trust in the Lord, and I'm not going to do what? Lean to my own understanding. I'm going to trust God. If he doesn't heal me and I'm on the machine, I'm going to trust him that he'll keep me there. Be it transplant come up, amen. However he sees fit. But I'm going to trust God. And you're going to have that family meeting. You're going to hold that meeting. You're going to discuss this situation, understand hemodialysis, share it with the family. What is it that we can do to support each other? How can we get through this? And we're going to be saying what? We got this. We got this, guys. We got this. Please, please, please. Let me know, guys. Any comments that you want to ask. I'm not a all-knowing on kidney failure, and I'm still learning. But like I say, I put in now 13 years as working as a technician, and I did 20 years in being a caregiver to my husband through this process. So what I have learned and what I am learning more, I'm willing to share it with you. So as a caregiver supporter, let's work at this thing. You can do this. Girls, guys, keep your chin up, watch the food. And yes, 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 just realize what they used to do, they might can't do it anymore when it comes to food. They might can't eat as much. Everything is in moderation. Watch that potassium and let them know you don't need to drink as much. Let's find some other ways. We'll talk about some tips. Frozen fruit can do a wonder. Hard candies can do a wonder. All of those things can do some great wonders in helping to alleviate dryness. And because that's the deal, yeah, especially if it's hot, if it's in summer, and we all like to drink, and we have to drink, and that can be very hard on them because they can't again get rid of the fluid except they do what the hemodialysis in this video hemodialysis, right? They can't get rid of the fluid. They can't get rid of the waste, right? So we want to help them not pump it in, help them use a little measuring tool or something, measuring cup, and keep them so they won't be overloaded and they won't be spending extra time in the hospital. Time to get their treatment and back home, get it under control, not extra emergencies and all of those things. Why? Because they drank too much fluid or something of that sort. And a lot of friends don't understand that, so they'll keep saying, hey, come on, drink more, and they'll try and say, no, 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 I can't, because you don't look sick. You don't look like anything is wrong with you, Oh, man, you used to drink more. I know I did, but I can't right now. And then if you give in and then you start doing that, you end up being 911. And when I say drink more, I'm not necessarily talking about alcohol or anything like that, just plain fluid. Be it juice, be it water, whatever the case may be. Watermelon can be an issue. So we're going to talk about those things as well in the future. Guys, right now, I want to say a little prayer for you, and we're going to get ready to see you in our next video. Father, we just thank you right now for every family caregiver and for every family that has a loved one that is diagnosed and is on hemodialysis. Strengthen them, Lord. Keep them, protect them, and let them know, Lord God, that they can do all things through Christ who strengthens them. All things through Christ who strengthens them. Give them wisdom, give them knowledge, give them understanding. Protect and keep them and shield them. In Jesus' name, amen, amen. Guys, thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to see comments. I want to see questions. I want to see thumbs up. I want to see sharing. You're going to share, share. And even if you don't get to watch the whole video, share. That makes a difference because I'm sure you might not be on hemodialysis, but you might know somebody that are family member, friend, or someone. So share this video. Guys, make sure that we'll see you. Keep your girlfriend in prayer. Know that I'm here for you. All right? Know that I'm here for you. We're here for each other, right? So we're going to see you right here in our next video.